here for the FiNext Conference 2019 here in Singapore. Now, do tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are and your company.
Sure. Alex Mashinsky, I'm CEO and founder of Celsius Network. We are a network of basically depositors who can earn interest on their crypto. So we have currently about 80,000 customers who download our app, and they can earn between 3 and 7% by just placing their crypto with us instead of placing on an exchange or a cold storage wallet and not earn anything. So we've done just over $1 billion in loans in the last 9 months and have over $100 million on deposit.
Well, with this emerging industry and where it's going, what is your company's vision for the future?
Well, we see interest income as a universal right. I mean, in most of the planet, especially here in Asia, it's very difficult to earn any return. In Japan, for example, you have to pay the bank to take your money, which is a ridiculous proposition. We work really hard to earn our capital, and then it gets diluted every year because of inflation. And instead of having a real return on it, we give it to our banks for free. But when you want to borrow from the bank, when you use your credit card, they charge you 20 or 25%. So it just makes no sense that they charge you so much and they give you so little. So Celsius created a network in which we pay the depositor fair value, 7%, and we lend out at 9%. So we charge the borrower half of what the banks charge, and we give most of that value. We give 80% of what we collect to the depositor. So we think that that is the norm. That's what people should expect. And we're doing it for the community. I mean, we always represent the best interest of our depositors, where the banks really represent the best interest of their shareholders, right? So they take all of that profit and they give it to their shareholders as dividend. They don't really give anything to the depositor. Actually, every year, if you take the last 30 years, you would see that every year the banks take more and more and more from the depositor and give it back to the shareholders. So we think that we want to reverse that equation. And because of that, we have such success of getting a lot of people to join us, and basically they take their money out of the bank, they buy stable coins with it or crypto, and they deposit with us and they have returns.
Okay, and I guess with that, what would your message be, whether it be with the banks, to your audience, to your customers, what would it be?
So, the opportunity is to take power back from the financial institutions that dominate our lives and bring it back to the people. Now, it's very easy to say that, but it's very hard to do that, right? So if you look at the fintech industry for the last 20 years, they have not even done a scratch of a change in the banks. The banks are bigger and more powerful than they've been in the last 100 years, right? So we have not been successful, we meaning the fintech industry, have not been successful at disrupting the banks and creating a better solution for the 7.5 billion people that live on this planet. So the opportunity is really to use, for example, cryptography and cryptocurrencies as this alternative platform. If you think about what Satoshi Nakamoto created, it was a replacement. If you read his white paper, it's a replacement for the existing financial system. So all I'm doing is carrying the flag for Satoshi Nakamoto. I can't tell you I invented something new. This is just taking something obvious, like giving your depositors most of the value and delivering it to the people. My background is that I'm famous for a few things, but the one that probably most famous for is creating voice over IP. 3.5 billion people use it now. And that was taking the power away from the phone companies. They used to charge us $3 a minute to call overseas. I'm sure you remember those days. And now it's free. Now we use it on our phone. Our kids take it for granted. They're like, what are you talking about paying for phone service? It's free. So it's the same universal right of communications we think exists with the right to earn return on your capital.
So you're a seasoned disruptor, really? That's
yes,
what you are.
That is very well said. Very well said. Yes.
Okay.
I just moved from one industry to another and disrupted.
Disrupt all of it.
Yes.
Now, going back to the conference per se, what are your thoughts about the event so far? And you talked about 20 years of doing this, and now where it is and where the future is going. Your thoughts of bringing people together, not just because of their problems, but of course with their solutions.
Yeah, so first, I think the conference is a great mix of both kind of old school and new school thoughts, and it's a great opportunity to kind of both exchange ideas as well as learn new things, and figure out what's going to be the winning idea. I think crypto itself, Bitcoin is now 10 years old, and we're still struggling with that killer app, right? I think it's lending and borrowing, but there's a lot of other ideas that are kind of fighting for dominance and fighting for survival. So we haven't yet proven that the winning idea is scalable or that people really want to use it, right? So 80,000 users is a very, very small number. So the challenge for fintech in general and cryptocurrencies in particular is really to scale beyond just the community that we already have. And again, find a use case for 1 billion people, right? And I can tell you, I'm sure you would agree that there isn't a single person on the planet that doesn't want to earn more on their money or pay less for their loans. And because, again, the banks have abused their relationships with their customers, with the depositors, for so many years, the opportunity is actually getting better and better and better, because as they take more and more and more from the depositor, the opportunity to come and disrupt that is becoming greater and greater. So again, I'm here just tapping on this opportunity. I'm using cryptocurrencies as the platform. It's just the technology we use to deliver value to the depositor.
With that, thank you very much for your insights, and I hope you have a good rest of the
Thanks for having me.